Hi, guys. Good morning for me. Good day for wherever you guys are. And we're back. And she's still talking. And she still has a lot more to say. Yeah, it's crazy. I've got a guest I've invited. I hope they'll pop in to help with the chat. And otherwise, let's get started. Hi, I'm Laura, also known as TheRealLauraB from Twitter. I'm a researcher, truth seeker, and a new wave internet journalist. I'm not a lawyer, nor offering any legal advice. Join me on a journey to draw the curtain back to expose key news developments in the world of celebrity lawsuits and current events. Let's get started. Well, she's at it again. We have the third part. So that's 10, 20, 30 minutes. I would imagine for Dateline would probably be another 10 minutes if you add in that they're going to show more court clips. They're going to have advertising for Dateline on Friday. So it looks like there'll be about 10 minutes more. So thank you all for coming. I've got my headphones on, so I shouldn't have the audio. I'm going to try and follow in the comments. The only thing I can say is right now, if we see a troll, just ignore them. I'll try and block them. I don't know if you can report them, but I'll do the best I can. And yeah, let's start off with this interview. I've got 56 people already here. So, oh, wait, I've got Mango coming in. Hold on.
1 second.
Hey, Mango.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you calling from the UK.
Hi.
So I want to introduce Mango's done some amazing compilation videos and deep dive videos that have been excellent. And we were chatting and she was thinking, I might like to try something like this. And I said, hey, pop on and give it a try and see if you like it. So she has a lot of knowledge in this area. So tell us how you got involved with supporting Johnny Depp in his legal stuff.
Well, honestly, I've, like everyone, or at least most, I've been a Johnny Depp fan for years. But when the allegations came out, I didn't believe them because it's pretty unbelievable to think someone that's so sweet all the time could do it. And then I started following up with, what she could release, and I came on Twitter, and actually, Laura, you're one of the first people that I would follow because you would post everything so nicely and organized so I could stay updated. And then that's when I started joining Twitter so that I could stay updated basically with everything going on. And then slowly, I made videos and stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, I love your videos. So you're on Twitter. Are you the same name on YouTube where your videos are?
No, because I started making videos from before because I'm journalist / video maker. So I just used the current account that I had making other videos, and it's Golden Film Productions.
Golden Film Productions, and I'll put a link in that in my
thank you.
description. So that's awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do is review and comment on the third part of this interview. So I think let me bear with me. I
actually wrote notes.
Oh, good. Mango, you know what I learned yesterday was if you're using an open mic, when we play the video, that sound will come through the live stream and your mic. So we'll get an echo. So I don't know if you've got some headphones you can pop on.
I do. I am wearing headphones right now.
There we go.
Yeah.
So
it's great.
My mistake yesterday.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. So let me find this. This sharing thing takes a little bit to search, probably because I have too many tabs open. That doesn't help.
So, yeah, I literally took all of them off and left 3: YouTube, Twitter, and this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should be sharing. Here we are. And let's get to... Ooh.
For 6 weeks, the defamation trial between her and Johnny Depp was hard to ignore. Every accusation aired for the world to see, and reaction on social media getting billions of views. Well, after the verdict, largely in favor of Depp, Heard called it a setback for other women who wanted to speak up. And now she says she fears other potential defamation lawsuits from her ex-husband as she looks to move forward.
So she's testing the waters. She knows she's doing this to get away with it. And she's doing this to dare him. She's doing it to test him to see how much longer, like she wants to go back to her activism. She wants to keep talking about this. So.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see if
she's tempting him, but I don't think he's going to fall for it.
no.
There's a text message where Johnny promises total global humiliation for you. Do you feel like that came true?
Oh, big pause.
Yeah.
I know he promised it. I testified to this. I'm not a good victim. I get it. I'm not a likable victim. I'm not a perfect victim. But when I testified, I asked the jury to just see me as human and hear his own words.
Okay, so let's talk about that text. First of all, it was
Yeah.
not to her.
Nope.
So there's no reason she could testify to it. It was not to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely not likable. So what's the context of the text?
Well, if I remember right, it was after she came out with everything and she wouldn't step back. And so he was just messaging his friend saying that it's like she's begging for it. But I don't think at the time he was even thinking of taking any action. He was just upset.
Actually, on the timeline, she had released the kitchen video. They were due to go to court and she had filed for the temporary restraining order. She had it extended several times.
Yes.
And they were due to go to court to finalize the restraining order. So she was the plaintiff. He was going to have to defend himself in court. So he started texting people, and we've seen that with Kevin Murphy, and we saw it with Laura Divinaire, I think. So,
Yeah.
I think some of those were exposed saying, hey, I'm going to need you to testify. I'm going to need your texts. I'm going to need anything you have, because she's begging for global humiliation. In other words, she's begging to do this court case. I asked her to settle it. I asked her to keep it quiet. She refuses. And in 2 days, boom, they're going to trial, and he's going to have to use the audios. And he's like, she's bringing this on herself. I don't want to do it, but she's asking for it. And that's the context of those texts. And they were never to her. They were never for her to see. So
Well, she's just using that as always, isn't she?
And she's not the victim. She's still going on with the victim talk.
Yeah.
Which is a promise to do this. It feels as though he has.
Amber Heard reflecting on the ripple effects of her tumultuous trial with Johnny Depp. Having been found liable, are you nervous as we are here today about what you can say now?
Of course, I took for granted what I assumed was my right to speak.
Do you feel like you could be sued again by him for defamation?
I'm scared that no matter what I do, no matter what I say or how I say it, every step that I take will present another opportunity for this sort of silencing.
No one has a right to defame someone, knowingly lie about them. That's what she's done.
Yeah.
And she thought she can get away with it. Was like, I had been doing it for so long, right? And Johnny didn't do anything. Right?
Exactly.
So she thought she could keep getting away with it and get paid speeches, paid.
I was going to say that.
Which is what I guess the defamation lawsuit is meant to do. It's meant to take your voice.
But Amber is still speaking just days after a jury stunned many and found the actress defamed Depp in an op-ed where she said she was a public figure representing domestic abuse. The piece, which never mentioned Depp by name, was published 2 years after the couple announced they had settled their divorce. Life had seemingly moved on, and you decide to write an op-ed.
Seemingly moved on. Now, I haven't seen this full thing, so I may be jumping ahead, but we did find out in this case, Johnny gave an interview to the UK, the
GQ.
UK.
Yeah.
And in that, he denied being an abuser. He said he denied what happened. He said, I'm not that type of person. He didn't name her. And he says, one day she just has a mark on her face. And the police asked if she wanted help, if she wanted aid. She said no. I think those are the kind of things he said. So within their divorce, they have a confidentiality clause. And they're not supposed to disparage it. They're not supposed to talk about their marriage. And if they violate it, they have required an arbitration clause. So that would be handled privately. It's still legal. It's basically a lawsuit. So she did file an arbitration against him for that
Yeah.
article, and that was October 2018.
Yeah, she
And that's
tried it before he even did. So
exactly.
It's funny how she says, "Oh, I just wanted to move on with my life."
Right. And she thought she could speak freely. So it was denied. She was denied. And that's October 2018. December 8, 2018. She writes this op-ed, and I still think it was retaliatory. You want to talk about? I'll show you what I can do.
Yeah.
That's my speculation that she did it. She did it knowing
I agree.
that she was going to against him. She did it knowing about the premiere for Aquaman, and we already saw that. We saw
Yep.
those emails that she was riding the coattail of his name, of the popularity of the film, to make sure this was seen by as vast and as many people as possible.
Yeah, she wanted it to go accordingly at the same time so it can receive more audience and have more attention. So it was all premeditated.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because the op-ed wasn't about my relationship with Johnny.
Bullshit.
But it alluded to him. It was unmistakable.
You know, what the op-ed was about was, me loaning my voice to a bigger cultural conversation that we were having at the time.
Did you worry? Gosh, I'd love to be a person weighing in on these cultural issues, but that's going to stir this all up again.
I obviously knew it was important for me not to.
Ooh, look at the cut there. Wonder why
Yes.
they cut there. I obviously knew. She obviously knew that this op-ed was going to be perceived to be about Johnny Depp. She obviously knew this op-ed was going to be perceived to be about her marriage when she claimed abuse. She obviously knew.
Oh, God.
Make it about him or to do anything like defame him. I had lawyers, teams of lawyers, review all the drafts of this.
When you wrote this op-ed, it was the height of Me Too. Legions of powerful men being canceled, losing their jobs. Did you want that to happen to Johnny Depp?
Of course not.
Oh,
Okay.
now let's step back.
Of course not. Yeah.
Dan Wooten, remember, he came out with a statement. He said that he had gone to J.K. Rowling, or he tried to, I guess she wouldn't take the call, to give Amber's side, and that he was bringing Amber with him. So they were trying to get Johnny fired off of Fantastic Beasts. That was the whole
Yep.
article, right? Why are you hiring this man after he's been accused? So the whole point of that article was to get him fired. And Dan Wooten said, I'm going to try to get Amber to talk to her too.
I think she actually asked to speak to her, but JK wasn't interested as well. Like she went full out to get him fired. But not just another lie, I guess, for her. No
Yeah.
big deal.
Just destroying the man's life over and over again. If I can't have him,
Yeah. Literally.
nobody, not even another relationship, but nobody can have him.
Of course not. It wasn't about him.
But the op-ed and the abuse alleged was at the heart of the 6-week trial.
Just pulls his arm back with the phone.
Oh, watch
and
this.
Throws it at my face.
This is the
Hit
best.
me right in my.
Oh, wrong side of the face, Amber. Choose that side.
Felt like my eye.
That's that
Heard
side.
testified that the final straw came after a violent fight in May 2016. 6 days later, she filed for a restraining order, cameras capturing her as she left the courthouse. But Depp's lawyers convinced the jury Heard was lying about the abuse. Police who responded to the 2016 incident testified during the trial that they didn't see any injuries and that Heard declined to file charges.
This was a hoax, is according to his team. Why didn't I cooperate with the police? As I've testified before, and I will stand by until my dying day, I didn't want to cooperate with them. I didn't want this to be out. I didn't want this to be known.
Okay, Jesse
Okay.
Smollett. I didn't want to file a false report, a police report. That's why I didn't call 911 myself. I didn't want to get in trouble.
Yep.
So I made sure somebody else called 911. I made sure not to give a statement so I couldn't be claimed to give a false report. I only did this so that I could give him a letter afterwards demanding, hey, I want 3 condos, multi-million-dollar condos. And you
Yeah.
have to pay for them all. And and I want my Range Rover, and I want $50,000 support every month.
I
I needed-
had even
ahead.
to this day, she's disregarding that multiple police officers said they did not see anything on her or in the apartment, and she's still saying, "Oh, I just didn't want anyone to know this," and acting like hiding her face was just too much.
And the timeline. I didn't want anybody to know this. His mother passed away. He said,
Yeah.
I'm divorcing you. May 21, they have that emotional relationship meeting that I'm sure was recorded. The next day, she's changing the locks, including Pennington's condo that she doesn't even own. She's changing locks. So when she testified that I needed a TRO to change the locks, no, she had done that already.
Before, yeah.
Monday, she files 13, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, was it? She filed for divorce. And then the following Monday, after Johnny's out of the country, she goes for the TRO when she knows he's gone and she thinks he can't answer it.
Also, she says she didn't want anything to go out, but right after the police left, she called her PR manager, her lawyers, just getting everything organized.
Yes.
Discreetly, of course.
Of course.
I didn't want to cooperate with them because I didn't want I didn't want to get him in trouble. If it was a hoax, I could have done that.
But 5 days later, you went to court and it came out.
5 days later, I made the decision to stand up for myself and protect myself. You can't get a restraining order in private, which
My understanding, that's not true.
I have no idea of that one, to be honest.
We've had several California lawyers speak up that you don't have to go to court. I mean, you can file it. Your lawyers can file it for you, that you don't have to go. But I might be wrong on that. So if anybody from California wants to pop in that might know that help.
Your comment
below. Of course, I
below.
didn't understand the night when the cops were called.
An employee of TMZ testified at court and said that TMZ was tipped off about when you were going to be going to the courthouse and on what side of your face bruises would be apparent. Did you tip off TMZ?
I was going to say, he certainly didn't get tipped off by me or anyone in my...
tip off TMZ?
Why would they? No.
You ask no one to do that.
As I testified to before, it had nothing to do with me.
There are different incidents that you testified to, and the Depp legal team would put up pictures of you publicly right after that or in the days following and saying that why are there no bruises?
Again, it's that thing. If you have bruising, if you have injuries, it's fake.
Okay, well, first of all, she had no bruises.
No, I was going to say she had no bruises.
She went around that one really fast. No, but all these pictures that they proved she had no injury. So now she's saying, well, yeah, if I had, but then they didn't like my pictures. Well, what was wrong with her pictures?
She only ever showed, I think, an honest, well, not even an honest one, but the only one that we've actually saw clearly was the one that she left the court with. Even in her photos, she doesn't really have any actual bruises except the one on the arm. So I really don't know what she's on about.
Well, it's just bumping into a door. But yeah, so they showed that her pictures were filtered.
Yes.
You could see that they were definitely shadows. When she supposedly had a bruise here, you could see this whole area here had the same gray area, same matching color. You could see the collar of her shirt, the same shadow. So that's really what they were. And I think it was really obvious. So she had no injuries. I mean, the back one, he's on my back, pummeling me, kneeing me. And here I wear back this dress. And then I looked at my back after the event.
If you don't have any, then you weren't injured.
You had promised to donate the $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity. It was revealed at trial that you haven't done so yet. However, they played a tape where you stayed on the air that you have donated it. Do you think that raised questions as to your credibility with the jury?
I made a pledge, and that pledge is made over time by its nature.
And when you say I donated, you know that everybody thinks that you've donated it, not that you've pledged it. So for the jurors sitting there, do you think they felt like that was you getting caught in a lie?
I don't know, because I feel like so much of the trial was meant to cast aspersions on who I am as a human, my credibility, to call me a liar in every way you can. And
that was the trial. It was a credibility contest.
And
that was it.
This is another one of the examples where if you pull back and you think about it, I shouldn't have to have donated it in an effort to be believed. I shouldn't have had to earmark the entirety of that in order to have.
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did.
Right, which is where it was intended to go.
Heard said
Yeah.
Okay, that one was kudos to Savannah. She did an excellent job there, putting the
Yeah, she
pressure and
did.
saying it how it
She
is.
did. Yeah, very good. So yeah, so she pledged to donate it because it was made public that she was demanding the condos. She was demanding the $50,000
Yep.
monthly support. The police had come out and said she lied. Well, the police came out and said they saw no injury and saw no damage. The public said she must be lying. This makes no sense. She's a gold digger. She files right after his mom passes away. She files on Lily Rose's birthday.
Yeah.
And they said, no, she's a gold digger. And we heard that phone call with Johnny that they're calling me a gold digger. How do I get my reputation back? And that's what this was. It was a PR ploy. I'm going to tell everybody I'm donating the money. And that alleviated a lot of the bad mouthing against her. Like, look, she's the real victim. She's not taking his money.
Exactly. I mean, and she just kept going on for years and years saying that she donated. And even in the UK trial, the judgment, the UK trial was a circus, but one of the things that judge said was that she's not a gold digger because she donated the money. Now she didn't even do that. She pocketed it and just went around saying, "Oh yeah, I did the good deed, and I'm the innocent one."
That's such an important part, I think, of his judgment, was that she donated the
Yeah.
money, so she can't be a gold digger. She can't be
She had no
doing
reason.
this. Right.
Yeah.
I've got somebody playing in the chat. Is that a game or is that someone I need to block? It's
Which
just posting letters SNMY.
I have no idea. Well, let it pass through. I have no idea.
Asking a block. I should block him. Okay, thanks, guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. I'm trying to snap on top of it too. So, as far as the donations, so then, and this is another point, on April 2018, someone got a hold of Children's Hospital LA, their donor report, their annual donor report. And this is going to go get a little bit contrived because it's not a January to December report. It's like a June to July report, fiscal year, but it had her name on it as a donor. So TMZ ran with it and said, look, she followed through. She donated her money, and everybody ran with it. And in actuality, the report covers not just donations, but full amount of pledges. Well, right after that, April 2018, that's when she started getting a lot of her advocacy or activist roles.
Yeah.
Because it validated her. And then we find out later that that she never donated. And that goes to credibility, because she sat there on that Dutch TV and said, I donated it all. Half went here, half went here. I donated it all.
And to quote, I wanted nothing.
Mm-hmm. She wanted it all.
Yep.
says she still plans to honor that pledge.
How do you see your future now? I get to be a mom, like full time, where I'm not having to juggle calls, lawyers.
One day you may want to tell your daughter about this or have to tell your daughter about everything that you've gone through. What would you want to say?
I think no matter what, it will mean something. I did the right thing. I did everything I could to stand up for myself and the truth.
Heard and Depp's volatile relationship lasted just 4 years. Depp confirming his engagement to me on Today.
Okay, she just wanted to stand up for the truth. She did. Oh, I'm glad I caught that. She did not stand up for the truth. She lied. The jury said she lied. She lied with malice. She lied with reckless disregard for the truth. They slapped her with $10 million compensatory damages and $5 million punitive damages. I wish they had known the $350,000 limit, because I bet they would have given him more. So I just happened to stop on this ring. As I remember, she didn't like this ring because it
couldn't fit her. It was too big, and she got angry with him. Well, that was the rumors, which I believe now. Right. But so she basically gave it to him and asked for a new one.
Right. So she got a bigger one. It was huge. Yep. It was huge. And then that became a bit clumsy. So she got a third one. that
Yes.
he could wear on that was less heavy. I mean, it was still very valuable, I'm sure, but it's interesting. I happened to stop on that one because
Yeah,
it was
it's a
never
good-
about money.
No, of course not. She loved him.
Day in 2014.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
It breaks my heart.
She's a wonderful girl. She's sharp as a tack. You know, wonderful. You know, Southern belle and
Listen.
sweet as can be, and very good for me. You know?
On the first day of the trial, you issued a statement, and part of the statement said, "I still have love for Johnny."
Yes.
Is that still true
Yes.
Oh, God.
after everything?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love him. I loved him with all my heart.
Ooh, past tense.
And I tried the best I could to make a deeply broken relationship work. And I couldn't. I have no bad feelings or ill will towards him at all. I know that might be hard to understand, or it might be really easy to understand. If you've just ever loved anyone, it should be easy.
Depp's attorneys have said they do not see the verdict in this case as a setback to victims of domestic violence coming forward. Heard's legal team has said they do plan to appeal this summer. Quick note, we will have more of our conversation with Amber Heard during a special edition of Dateline, including evidence she says should have been included in the trial that would have bolstered her case. You can stream part of it, a sneak preview, tomorrow on Peacock, ahead of that Dateline special, a full hour airing Friday night, 8/7 Central, here on NBC.
Boy,
For
did
6 weeks, the defamation trial.
we definitely expected that, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty certain she's not allowed to do that, to show evidence to the public after the defamation case. But I guess she just really doesn't care anymore. And I highly doubt she's going to show anything that's going to have us shocked. I think we've seen everything from the UK
Right.
as well.
And we saw her. Let's see if I can pull this one up really quickly. It's never quick with this program. Sorry. We saw
Don't
her
worry.
arrive off the private plane, and there it is, the folder. So we know she's bringing Stephen's text. Now, they did come out in the UK trial. Poor Stephen.
Yeah.
You know, hindsight, he never intended to cause any harm to Johnny or her. He was trying to mitigate a bad situation. He came out that he was a victim himself. He really hated all this fighting, and all he was trying to do was placate her. Just say what Johnny said, just say whatever she wants to hear. That's all we can do to stop her fighting. We have no other options because she'll keep going and going and going. Just agree with her. Just say what she wants to hear. And sadly, who knew that those texts would now be used against Stephen and Johnny because they don't represent the truth. We had witnesses from the plane who said, no, there was nothing like this happened. So,
No, they were gonna have the air hostess as well, but I guess they preferred to not add her and add other witnesses at that time.
Yeah,
but,
I guess they ran out of time.
Yeah, I guess I genuinely agree. I think it's mostly texts from Stephen, that's gonna come back. But we've already seen them.
Yeah, they're gonna have text. They're gonna have her therapist notes, which again are generally not allowed.
I mean, anyone can tell their therapist that they believe in unicorns and they're going to write it down. It doesn't mean it's real. They're just going to write it down because they said it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wonder why her therapist didn't testify.
No, it's hearsay. Therapists are hearsay because it's all self-reporting. The only difference was the marriage counselor, because they both saw her. But even she said that she only saw Johnny a couple times. And when he was there, they never spoke about abuse, ever.
Yeah.
They only spoke about abuse when he was not there. Again, so that's Amber self-reporting. That's Amber claiming. And Johnny not present. It was never put to him. So I saw, let's see what I got here. I pulled out a couple. Okay. Here's one that talks about her loving Johnny so much. Let's look at this one. I thought this was really insightful. This is a psychologist, I think.
Is it a public video?
Yes, it's off Twitter.
Ooh.
his opinion.
Yeah.
Well, it's been almost 2 weeks since Amber Heard lost a multi-million-dollar defamation lawsuit against her ex-husband, Johnny Depp, but she is refusing to back down.
In a new interview, the actress is standing by her claims that Johnny Depp was abusive towards her.
Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations
fast-forward
against
this one?
Johnny Depp about abuse?
Of course, to my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
He
And-
says he never hit you.
He can't-
Never. Is that a lie?
Yes, it is. I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself.
Did you?
Instigate it.
We've heard all this, so
And said,
Yeah.
what
So,
I want is this part, right? here.
Hack,
Yeah.
hack here. What do you make of
Oh,
Amber's
yeah. Be
comments
fair.
so far?
Let me get her name in.
Caster Cooper Lawrence joins us down from New York. Cooper, so much to unpack.
The lawyer
I want to get her introduction
for
in, to
the
be fair.
man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
Oh my God.
Wow, US broadcaster Cooper Lawrence joins us down from New York. Cooper, so much to unpack here. What do you make of Amber's comments so far?
They're confusing because I think she's on the you need to listen to me tour, I wasn't lying tour, but yet she has these awkward moments that she had during the trial where you're kind of like, wait, are you lying again? Because it's like she can't get her own story straight that she memorized for this interview and she's not even under oath. So, I mean, the thing is, we know that Johnny Depp doesn't have fingers that are scissors. We also don't think he was once a real pirate. The whole thing was really odd and really weird. And I'm trying to figure out what her intention is here because it's not doing her any good. Social media is having a field day with her once again, and that's what she's trying to avoid.
So, Cooper, the whole defamation trial centred around an article she wrote saying he was abusive to her. If she's saying, again, he abused her, could she be sued?
She's getting herself in trouble here, yeah, because she's coming out and saying they had a trial. The jury found that she did defame him, and yet here she is defaming him again. So, but her whole purpose behind this, the reason she wrote the article, remember they had divorced in 2017, things were over. She said, I want him to move on, I want to move on. But then she wrote this article, and she's been poking the bear ever since because she still wants him in her life, even if it's in a negative way. And here she is again. So it's not healthy. They do have a toxic relationship, and she clearly wants to continue it.
So you think that's the reason she's doing all of this, to keep the attention back on her and the relationship with Johnny?
Yeah, because the narrative isn't, listen, I want to be seen as a good person here and I want my career back. Instead, she's coming up with the same things that she said before that were already proven lies. So that's what I'm saying. Her narrative is all over the place. So I was kind of looking for her to be more likable and to be more honest here and say all the things we've been hoping she'd say all along, which she does for like 2 seconds, but then she goes right back to her whole Johnny's an abuser, he's a liar, et cetera, et cetera. So it's weird.
It is weird.
I wonder if he would sue her again, because that's the whole reason he's in the first place.
Just to shut her up.
Well, I don't know
Probably
whether
too.
that's going to happen.
I think he wants to have nothing to do with her. If she's trying to get his attention, I
Absolutely.
don't think it's going to work this time.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that was interesting, I thought. And she is a psychologist and broadcaster.
Well, it's been
Cooper
almost
Lawrence.
2 weeks since Amber.
I think she analysed the entire situation perfectly, to be honest. Especially the fact that she said that everything that Amber said, the majority at least, were lies. And she goes and gives an interview and just repeats the same things that have already been exposed. That's just mind-blowing to me.
So I just thought that was great. She wants to stay attached to him for the rest of her life.
I agree.
Her existence is dependent on being Johnny Depp's ex-wife. Her existence is his name. She's nothing without his name. She can't have him. She's going to make sure somehow she stays in his life.
Oh, absolutely.
No, that's just horrible. So we saw testimony, and I thought this one might be good to bring back in. And this is Carino. Johnny Depp's agent talks about. This is his testimony. You're going to let me show him.
You indicated that she moved on immediately after Johnny Depp to date Elon Musk. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Do you have an understanding one way or another whether Ms. Heard and Mr. Musk were in fact dating at the time of the San Francisco reconciliation that she asked you to set up?
I don't know whether they were dating, but they had definitely spent time together.
Do you know how long after the San Francisco attempted reconciliation you gained the understanding that Elon Musk and Ms. Heard were in fact dating?
I don't know exactly how long, but not long after.
Do you know who or what was your understanding of who she was referring to when she was said, "Here, I love him"?
Johnny.
Based on this exchange, did you have an understanding at this time whether Ms. Heard wanted to reconcile with Mr. Depp?
I believe she did.
Wow.
And at this point in time, she was still a close personal friend of yours, correct?
Yes.
And at this point in time, did she consider you a confidant in your understanding?
I think, yes.
Okay, just to authenticate this document again, Mr. Carino, do you see that it's referenced at the bottom, date stamp CC, indicating that you produced this document?
Yes.
And having read this, do you perceive this as a true and fair copy of a text exchange between you and Ms. Heard?
I'm going to stop it there because I get nixed for copyright.
Yeah.
So yeah, she wanted to reconcile with him, and we have further texts as late as 2019, right? To Christian Carino, that she wanted to call Johnny for his birthday.
Yeah, and God knows how many times she's attempted before, or we don't know about. So I think he should get a restraining order. I think Johnny needs a restraining order at this point.
Well, or an injunction. I don't think there's a need for a
Yeah.
restraining order because there's no physical. I think that's what that is for. You can stop them from contacting you and things like that. I think an injunction would somehow stop her from talking about him. Maybe. I don't know how that works.
I do hope they manage to get that, his legal team, because she's
I'm
never
gonna-
going to stop.
No. I'm going to, I have a couple other things to play and then we'll get into the comments. Mango, I don't know how long you're able to stay. You
I've
good
got
for
a bit
this?
more. Yeah.
Okay.
Of
Oh yeah,
course.
great.
Thank you.
Great. So I know Judge Jeannie's been really strong, and I know she can be polarizing for some people, being so far right, supporter of Trump and all that, but she's still legal and she knows what she's talking about. So I think in this case, I am going to share what she has to say. This is after the second part. I'm dying to hear what she has to say about today, but this would be from part 2. She's already spoken about part 1.
Just say one more thing.
She has had some golden moments.
Heard repeating that Johnny Depp beat her. He can sue her again. She is, as far as this jury is concerned, lying. And let me just say one more thing. The fact that he won was based on her testimony.
Yeah.
Everything that she said was used against her in the closing statement of the plaintiff. So it wasn't so much that there was this proof, circumstantial evidence that he was beating her. No, her own admissions are what incriminated her. It was everything that came from her mouth, both the credible and the incredible, that ended up making her the liar, her the incredible defendant. And she ought to just, and stop saying you speak for battered women. You don't know battered women. I know battered women. You're not one of them. Absolutely.
Brilliant.
I couldn't have said it better. I had
No.
and I couldn't have said it safer because you know, if someone's going to get sued, it's not going to be me, you know.
No, I
That's
think
what I
she
would
said
prefer.
it brilliantly and represented many, many, many people.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of questions from my last stream, and I thought I just searched some tweets. And if you don't mind, I just wanted to share a couple of those again.
Of course.
Uh,
I'm going through the comments as well.
oh, good.
Yeah.
So a lot of questions were asked. If AH files for bankruptcy protection, JD can ask a court to find the debt non-dischargeable under this rule. JD must prove Amber intended to cause harm. The actual malice finding isn't enough. So apparently, he has to do further. A bankruptcy court would have to decide on that. So that's not very cut and dry. And this is people keep asking if she could be sued or an injunction can be filed against her right now. The litigation privilege, that means anything you say in court, anything court documents, things like that. Lawyers speaking out for you, like Elaine did. That's why Elaine could not be sued. In Virginia, protect statements or parties and attorneys about pending proceedings. Her statements may be protected speech. Johnny would have to sue to test that theory, but more lawsuits won't solve anything. Yeah. He says another finding of defamation would just add to the judgment that she can't pay. So if no one believes Amber at this point, there's no point in doing anything. And I think it's no point in doing anything. Sorry. Yeah. I'm from New York. Sometimes I talk too fast. So what he's saying is pending proceedings, the judgment has not been filed yet. It's not recorded yet. That happens June 24th. So as a result, they're in this limbo period, this lame duck period, if you will. So I think that's why they're rushing to get these interviews in before June 24th.
Yeah, because then afterwards things might get complicated for them.
So I grabbed some food. This is not normal. He needs to get an injunction or something like that. Yeah, she still loves him. I love him. I loved him. Can the media stop misrepresenting the text about global humiliation? It wasn't sent to her. It wasn't a promise. It was a prediction that it said that if she wouldn't stop lying, she'd ended up humiliating herself. And I can't say Johnny was wrong about that.
Yeah.
Remember when Braderhoff implied that eating candy during a trial is a sign of narcissism?
That's a brilliant point.
Guess she doesn't believe about depositions, cookies, or whatever H is shoving in her mouth.
I don't know why I think it was Oreos.
I thought it was Oreos too. We knew Amber's story in 2016, 2017. She reminded us of it in 2018. She made up new stories in 2019. We kept hearing even more in 2020. We kept hearing her story in 21. She made changes to her story in 2022. We've heard her story or lies for 6 years. I think that's enough.
Excellent point.
Yeah. Her fake hesitation, heavy breathing, long pause before answering questions. Johnny exposed the truth. The truth humiliated her. And her words were not a promise or a threat. He was asking her not to make a public spectacle of their divorce or pursue her DV claims because that would force them to defend himself, and they would both be damaged by it. And his was the voice of reason. Johnny told somebody else she was asking for global humiliation because, like we all know, and what you guys are denying, Amber was the abuser. We knew it'd come out if he had to defend himself. On the phone with Johnny, gently reminding her court would not be good for her or him.
Yeah, he did. He did. Even in that recording, he did tell her. He warned her. You know, we can settle this differently. But if you're asking for it, you want to go to court, we'll take it to court. He did tell her that. She basically initiated it.
Yeah. I wanted to give a shout out to this account very quickly, and then we'll move on.
Yep.
There is a lot of conspiracy theories going on, and this account in particular has been doing a lot of deep dives, connections between Dauber and Me Too, and this court case of, know your Title IX, ACLU. So let's hear the truth. If you're interested in some of the research they've been doing, it's pretty deep. It's pretty sideways. It's not all about Johnny, but it's this connection, how some of these activists maybe are being promoted and backed by big money. Tug suggested that. I showed his tweet the last time that saying there's a lot of money and PR behind Amber. Maybe this has to do with this.
Yeah.
So let's hear the truth.
Seems likely.
Certainly possible. Let's take a couple questions. I'm going to just randomly scroll up. And then I have a few more videos. You still good, Mango?
Yeah, of course. No problem. I'm very much enjoying this. Thank you.
Okay, so I blocked this guy that was putting letters, and I didn't understand what they were. Apparently, he was a fan of yours.
Oh.
And I feel bad now because I'm going to have to figure out how to unblock him at some point because I can't do it in this program.
Oh, bless him. I wasn't looking at the comments when you asked me who.
I just saw letters going by and people saying block him, so I did.
Oh, well, thank you for telling us, Tanya, and thank you to that person very much.
I'll find him.
Sorry.
Side note: she got paid for her baby photos, apparently.
Oh, well, that's a rumor.
I think,
but makes sense.
Well, you know Daily Mail better than I do. Don't people pay for wedding photos and baby photos?
Oh, yeah. And it depends on, how big the photos are. You could get maybe £100, or if it's the biggest celebrity, you get thousands. So you could easily sell them.
The idea of her mothering is horrifying.
I thought the same thing.
I get to be home full time with my daughter and avoid the phone calls. And right away, I'm thinking, yeah, because you're not getting any jobs. And right away, she thought about when she said, she goes, oh, let me quantify that. The phone calls from my lawyers.
Yeah, thank you. I thought about it. Oh, okay. So she knows she's not going to get any more jobs. That's good.
What's this one not showing? Go home. There we go. Yeah. They published donors and pledge lists. She was on it for 1 year, and then nothing came when she was removed. She was on, I think, to be honest with you, I found it for 2 years, and then she was removed the third year. So she was on it for 2018, 2019, 2020. She was gone. And what it states is if you donate $1 million or more, you are represented on that list for life. For life.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and she was on the list twice. And I think there was a correction made, which I thought was very weird. So 2018, she pops on. 2019, she's on again, but she's also mentioned in the 100,000 to 499,000 category. Remember, Johnny donated the 100,000, and we found out from ACLU that they held that money for a while before they got final approval to accept it and apply it to her. And that could have been the same thing that happened with Children's Hospital. They received this check from Johnny for $100,000 from his financial manager saying this is toward the pledge for Amber Heard. And they probably had to get verification from Amber. And I think that was the 100,000. Because why would you recognize somebody for two separate amounts over $1 million?
No, I don't think that they would do that. I think it was from Johnny's money, and then maybe they didn't believe her pledge and took her off.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to find that Shaw letter because we have that. They were saying sales of Dior have been going crazy since the trial ended. Good for them for sticking by him. Good for them.
Kudos to Dior.
Yes.
I still couldn't get over how Amber said that he doesn't have style, and Dior wants someone with style.
Oh, she was brutal to him.
She really was
brutal to him.
Will she brainwash her daughter and turn out to be like her? I really hope not. I really hope not.
That's a Dr. Curry question, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't know how these personality disorders, they're not curable. There's something you have to learn to accept and act accordingly.
Well,
correct.
With borderline, you need thorough therapy. There's not medication for it. You just need extensive therapy to be able to organize your emotions, the way of thought, and the wiring. But to be fair, I feel like Amber probably has something more than just borderline.
Yeah, the histrionic, right?
Yeah.
This made me so sad when they got his therapist to testify. They took his deposition and said that Johnny said, look, I'm 51. I don't want to get married.
That's another thing. How comes his therapist could speak and it wasn't hearsay and her one couldn't?
I guess because, I don't know. He didn't object?
Maybe he didn't want to. I don't know.
I think
it did break my heart when Johnny said that to his therapist.
Yeah.
Just another confirmation that it was a very quick and one-sided wedding.
Yeah. The beautiful ring Johnny had to wear because she wanted a better one. and more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel for the kid. She has no other parent or second family to turn to, just Amber. And pretty soon it's just Amber and her sister because the father's elderly.
I just hope that, I just hope that they manage to take good care of it, but you never know.
I thought it was strange. It just came out, another slip. I think Daily Mail had pictures of her in the Hamptons going out to dinner. It was her and Whitney and Whitney's 2 children.
Oh,
No
I didn't see that one.
And no mention of Amber's child.
Yeah, we haven't seen her with her own daughter in a long time.
I mean, it's a long time to be in Virginia. I'd be surprised. And that she got that huge house. I would think she'd have a nanny. And
Yeah.
Whitney's just had an infant. So it's not like they were afraid to take a baby. I mean, Una's a year old now.
I feel like Whitney probably did take her children to Virginia. So
Yeah,
maybe I thought that Amber did take her daughter and Whitney would take care of them until she had to give a testimony. That's my way of thought.
Maybe.
But I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
she has a nanny. It was a big
Oh,
house
yeah.
that they were renting. Her daughter's still super young and vulnerable. Amber will adore her until she becomes her own little human and her own needs and destiny. Yeah. There are people, I'm not saying she's going to do this, but if they can't have the career themselves, they'll vicariously live through their children to push them to have careers.
I can't imagine her putting her into baby pageants. I can see that.
Do you think she may have claimed all the donations on the IRS? If so, that's a whole other issue. That's it is. In fact, that's what she was faced with. I use pledged and donated as the same word. Well, do you think the IRS does? Because I don't think they do.
Yeah, imagine. That would be funny.
Yes, when we all saw Johnny saying that, broke our heart. He had no idea
Yeah.
what was coming. He had a little bit. He got engaged to her, but the abuse had already started with her. And he talked on the audios. He goes, I thought once we got married, it would calm you down, but I knew it would be.
The thing with that interview that I noticed, he did say 3 good qualities in her, but he kept looking down.
Yeah.
And we saw Johnny even in the court. He always looks in the other person's eyes. It's something he always does. So I don't know if he was just trying to, hide a bit of doubt and sadness behind that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think he was caught on guard and he goes, oh my God. And they probably had just had an argument. Who knows? And he had to come up with some nice things. Her daughter will find out on her own. If she continues to act this way when her daughter is grown, she will be the one who tells everyone how she really acts.
I thought of that, and I'm hoping that when her daughter grows up, she can actually speak about it. But,
Well, I hope she doesn't harm her daughter. The baby will be used as a shield and weapon, depending on Amber's emotions at the moment. Well, that's kind of what she's doing with the photos on her Instagram and stuff. And in her testimony, I'm a mother. I have a child.
Even in her interview, I want to be a full-time mom.
Yeah.
Rando.
Right. I'm still hoping Elon is baby daddy. Oh, sorry. Not a fan of the man, but family seems important to him. And I think, well, that's a point. Family seems important, that he would take care of the child.
Well, he doesn't seem involved at the moment from what we've seen.
Yeah. Depp still looks amazing for 59. He got out with his literal life. He's going to be okay.
He looks great.
Yeah, Amber, you tried to batter him into shape, didn't you? So sad.
That is sad.
Obsession's not money. She loves money.
Yeah.
Yeah, this terrifies me. I'm getting goosebumps. JD will not get rid of her. This is scary stuff. This is scary stuff. I firmly believe his worst years were his addictive behavior during his relationship with Amber. I agree. She did age him. Look at pictures of him before and during the relationship. He becomes almost gone. Yeah, he went. I mean, she on the red carpet was literally like a duckling to a swan, right? A duckling to a swan. Not that she was ever ugly. And he was getting his shoulders rounded. He was looking down. He had his hair in his face a lot of the times. He looked unkept. He looked unwell. His agent complaining about him being late was really predominantly Pirates 5.
Yes.
We heard on the audio how she made him late for things, wouldn't let him leave. We heard him when he was at Sweetser. He was supposed to go in the studio to work, and she was outside and wouldn't let him go in.
Yes.
Wouldn't let him go in for God knows how long. Well, I'm sure people were waiting to work with him.
The thing is, she was always beautiful, but you can see that Johnny's money and the reputational glow. Like, she started elevating her fashion sense, the hair extensions, the makeup, everything, and you could see him deteriorating, like, significantly.
If she could get him, she would try in a heartbeat.
Oh,
In a
yes.
heartbeat. She wanted so badly for him to look at her in court, so badly.
She did.
She wanted I'm sure she wanted to talk to him, try to find a way.
Wasn't it in the UK trial that someone said that they saw her try an attempt to go close to him, speak to him? I think I heard something like that.
Yeah, a couple of Twitter people were there, and they said they saw her walk down the hall, and I think they saw Adam head her off.
Yes.
And apparently, I think the story about that newspaper too, maybe they saw it. I don't know how I know this. He was reading the newspaper while she was sitting, and he was making so you could hear the noise of the paper, so that she could see the headline. And then I think he folded up and put it on his seat. He did not throw it at her.
What?
He did not throw it.
He must be crazy to throw a newspaper, being a lawyer, at a witness in the courtroom.
Right.
Oh,
right.
God.
I'm getting a lot of the same thing. She didn't love him. She was obsessed with him.
I saw a comment here where someone asks that we should discuss the Stephen messages.
Oh, I brought that up in the beginning. Maybe that was before we.
Oh,
we talked about that Stephen had given testimony that he was only trying to placate her. He's a victim himself, and it's really sad. Oh, they probably came in later. It was really sad that he had to get involved. He felt he was Johnny's assistant, but he was their friend. I mean, he was there much like family, and he saw this time and time again. We heard it on the audios. Johnny just having to give in to her. If you don't give in to her, she won't stop. And he said, Stephen, just tell her anything that will calm her down, just placate her, say whatever she wants to hear. And that's what he did. And sadly, who knew all these years later, it was going to come back to haunt him, because nobody knew that this was going to come in the future.
A lot of his messages were presented in the UK and not so much in Virginia. So I think that's why some people didn't know maybe about them, because not everyone views the case so, down to detail as us. So maybe people are like, oh, we didn't know about these. Maybe that's why a lot of people are confused. But it was just an attempt, as you said, to relax things.
Adam's somebody just sent me a text. He's making comments, I guess, on his Instagram. Adam, we want to know news from you. And Adam said, patience, young grasshopper. Patience,
I saw that before.
So there's more coming. Emily D said yesterday she'd be very surprised if JD's team doesn't seek an injunction after this interview. I hope he does, but it may be that he has to wait until the thing is actually filed, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. But Adam has been dropping hints all over Instagram, so I'm excited to see what's next.
Why is this not coming up? I've shared it, and it's not coming up with what I shared. Let me see if I have to.
Maybe save it and
no. I think it clicked. I think when I clicked the letter, it opened up to a different tab. I have to go to find that tab now, which is Brian's. Yeah, here it is. So Brian posted this. I know people. It's going to be hard to see a bit. This is from the Children's Hospital. This is dated June 2019. Remember, she says she fully intends to do her pledges. Now, there's this blank form. When I say blank, unsigned, undated form, the ACLU was able to produce, saying yes, on this date, 2016, she pledged $3.5 million, and it will be paid out over 10 years. It was undated, unsigned. And that's what they tried to use to support her 10-year. Here we have 2019. She sent it to Amber care of her publicist. I guess they didn't know where else to send it. Dear Ms. Heard, I'm following up on the correspondence that Children's Hospital of Los Angeles Foundation received on August 26, 2016, which the hospital was notified by Ed White and Company that a $3.5 million pledge gift had been made in your honor. In the correspondence, see enclosure, it states the first of multiple scheduled installments to honor the full amount of Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledge gift. Since the first installment, CHA has not received any further installments. So what this was referencing is the letter that Ed White sent along with the $100,000 check, saying this is going to be the first of many installments, which everybody took the installments to equal that the settlement was being paid in installments.
Yes.
And she's saying, since we've gotten that first installment, we've not received any further installments from you. I'm inquiring if you acknowledge. Yeah. I'm inquiring if you have knowledge if child should accept future installments on your behalf, or if the pledge will not be fulfilled. I appreciate your insights on this matter and can be reached via direct line at the foundation. So,
well, this again contradicts what Amber said, that, oh, you know, you have huge amounts of time until you can donate. This, you know, the Children's Hospital saying, are you going to go through your pledge or aren't you going to do anything? They're waiting, basically.
Right. I think possibly that I think there was another. It's not my.
That was another letter.
Oh, here it is. I think that they did receive. I think they said Elon may have given them another installment. But in the meantime, yeah, didn't happen. Okay, so how bad was that testimony? We have some more that's weighing in on this. Radar. How bad was that testimony?
Oh, Megan.
Meg Kelly sounded off about Amber Heard's explosive sit-down interview with Savannah Guthrie shortly after the Aquaman actress broke her silence on her unfair defamation trial against ex-husband Johnny Depp. Kelly was joined by Emily Jasinski of The Federalist and Alina Johnson of The Free Beacon. It's all very, I know, far right. To discuss her latest comments, her credibility, and more after a 7-person jury found Depp in the courtroom that rocked the nation. So I thought this had her video. She slammed Heard's claims, said she didn't care what anybody thinks of her. She clearly does. She clearly does care. She's only saying that she doesn't care because she just lost. Kelly went on to discuss the impact social media could have had on the trial amid Amber's plans. While chatting with Guthrie, Heard said, even if you think I'm lying, you still can't look me in the eye. You cannot say it was a fair trial. Kelly wasn't so concerned posing the chicken or the egg question. Heard was unbelievable, and social media turned against her, Kelly said. Or social media turned against her, and then the jurors found her unbelievable. She thinks it's the latter. I think it's the former. They found her uncredible. I don't think the jury was on. Sorry, I thought this had the video.
Do you want me to try and find the video?
Yeah. I don't know how you can get it to me. Kelly doubled down how bad your case was, your testimony was. So, yeah, I'm scrolling down. I do not see it.
If I find it, I will send it to you.
Okay.
Oh, I found one with her guests, which I have not seen yet, but I will send it to you.
DM it in Twitter, I guess.
Yes, I just sent it.
Stop sharing. Go here. Go here. Do you know who's really been coming out for Johnny that I'm thrilled about is the New York Post.
Yes.
Coming out with some great tweet support. And I was so surprised.
And Piers Morgan, which surprised me as well.
Okay. It did me funny there. Okay, I got it. Let me go find the tab. This is so much fun with this thing.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Yeah. It's another great count to follow.
Yes.
Did a better job than I did. And that's why it was unfair, this verdict against me. I mean, what she's basically saying, Eliana, is the other lawyers did a better job than my lawyers, and Johnny did a better job than I did. And that's why it was unfair, this verdict against me.
Yeah, she's calling the jurors gullible morons by saying that, Johnny's a beloved character and a wonderful actor, and omitting the fact that she also had equal time to present her evidence and her defense in this trial. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that the jurors were scrolling social media coverage of the trial.
No, they were ordered not to touch it, not to go anywhere near it.
as to her point about social media, other than to say that it hurts her feelings that she's getting critical coverage on social media, because there's no way that the coverage on social media reached the jurors in that box. And given that, it's entirely irrelevant, other than she doesn't like the critical coverage.
She's like, how could they think anything other than I'm a liar when they listen to Johnny's paid staffers and randos? You know, she tried to claim the one guy whose trailer got damaged by Johnny to some small extent was somebody who wasn't there and really didn't have a connection. Your lawyer had the chance to point all of this out on cross-examination and did. And you, Amber Heard, pointed it out when you were on the witness stand as well. The jury heard all of your defenses, all of your attempts to poke holes in the credibility of these people, and they rejected them. That doesn't make the jury this helpless group of vulnerable people who would just be swayed by the randos and the paid employees. They factored all of that in, and they still did not believe you. Like, that's how bad your case was, your testimonial was. They saw all of that and heard all those arguments. They rejected them.
That was
brilliant. That's what I said. She keeps going on saying, oh, that by the time, to quote, she actually said in the interview with Savannah that that the jury were bombarded with 3.5 weeks of evidence, you know, that against her, that, you know, flew her credibility. And then she sat down on the stand and it was a room filled with Jack Sparrow fans, to quote. Right. That's what she said. She had 3.5 weeks as well. She had witnesses. She had her professionals. She had everything.
They had equal time. Yeah, equal time. So I just saw a question, and I'm going to check this to see if there is an update in the ACLU case. It takes me a little bit to get to it, and then I've got to track it here.
Did it just come out now? Is it new?
It just got uploaded. Yeah.
Oh.
So let's see if I can.
So exclusive.
Yeah, got exclusive. If it lets me in, come on, let me in. Keeps having me do the CAPTCHA.
Oh God, I hate that.
Oh. Try again. View my cases. Click on there. Click on show file document. So what's happened is they filed for the $86,000. Depp's team opposed it, and now they're coming in with, they get to reply their opposition.
Ooh.
So
okay.
Yeah, who asked me this? I'm sure you've gone. Somebody asked, "Is there any updates?" See, I think you flew past me, but let's see if I can share this. So you're getting a breaking news here.
Breaking news exclusive, guys.
Yeah, well, I even found it pretty fast. How does this work? Yay! I hope it's big enough for you to read.
Yep.
I can go a little bit bigger. Let me make sure it's on my screen. So this is ACLU's answer to the opposition that Depp filed. So, and there's going to be a lot of legal cases that we will not read. ACL, I can go a little bit bigger so I can read it. I can't go quite that high. The ACL non-parties respectfully submit this reply memorandum of law in further support of their motion for production of expenses, and they want the full amount, which are incurred in complying with the 3 non-party subpoenas and the document. One. Mr. Depp does not dispute that New York law requires him to pay. He said that. They want, and the cost, they want all the costs of the legal fees, which was about $86,000 in order to comply, and expenses in collecting and identifying production documents, which was about $1,000. The bulk of that amount was incurred after Mr. Depp rejected several compromise proposals that would have reduced the ACL parties' compliance costs. Well, yeah, sure, but they tried to squash this, and the judge said, no, you have to do all this. These are the subpoenas. You have to do all of this. Now faced with monetary consequence of serving broad discovery requests on a non-party, Mr. Depp argues that the ACLU non-parties, they're going to keep driving that home. We know you're a non-party. We know he didn't sue you. Are not entitled to recover costs of attorney review necessary to identify documents responsive to his subpoena. That argument makes little sense in the context of modern electronic discovery. And unsurprisingly, it's not supported by New York case law. Mr. Depp is equally off the mark in arguing that the ACLU assertion of privilege and work product protection over a small number of documents waives the mandatory obligation to defray the costs. New York case law does not support that proposition either, which would put non-parties to the Hobbesian choice of either waiving attorney-client privilege or being forced to bear the costs. And they cite their case. Mr. Depp puts forward no support for his position that the rates or the number of hours worked by ACLU were excessive. Well, they did say that they felt that the rates were excessive. They felt they were not reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's what they're saying. They're willing to pay reasonable costs that the judge will decide. He argues warrant denying or reducing the fees expenses requested. The court should grant the motion for the full amount. ACL parties are entitled to recover attorney's fees under the New York law. So they're going to cite other cases. Mr. Depp does not dispute that the New York law provides for the reimbursement of reasonable production expenses to a non-party. But he goes on to argue that the attorney review time and associated fees were not reasonably required to determine which documents were responsive. They're saying he's misstating the law, where attorney's fees are directly related to preparing a document production in response to a subpoena. That's the documents.
Yeah.
They must be reimbursed by the requesting party. Multiple authorities in New York, including recent authorities that Depp ignores, support the common sense reading of the rule. They cited all their docs or their law cases to support their decision. Although Mr. Depp maintains the attorney fees for time spent on responsiveness and privilege review are not recoverable, the authorities he cites are non-binding, unpersuasive, and have been disapproved by courts that have considered the issues more recently. So again, they're coming up with more cases.
Yeah.
The court declined to award attorney fees arising out of a motion to quash subpoena memorandum of law. They're claiming they're not asking for those. Mr. Depp attempts to distinguish several cases cited by the ACLU non-parties because the court determined that it could award a non-party attorney's fees, but declined to do so until the non-party substantiated the fees or until the parties met and conferred. That's part of what Depp said too. They're not reasonable. Contrary to Mr. Depp's suggestion, this is the case he cited, does not stand for the blanket proposition that an award of attorney fees or non-party is unwarranted whenever the non-party has some association with the underlying case. In this case, for instance, the court awarded attorney's fees for attorney review, notwithstanding the petitioner's allegation that the non-party was intimately involved with defendants in the underlying case. So they're not a party. They're not, we'll see. Moreover, the ACL non-parties did have substantial rights at stake in ensuring that only responsive non-privileged documents were turned over, including preserving the privacy and First Amendment protected association rights of donors who had no relationship with the underlying litigation between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard. So I guess they're claiming in these documents they searched, other donors came up, so that's why they had to review them. So they had a review for production and for privilege and relevancy. Other donors would not be relevant. They do not provide a practicable rule because it is unclear whether time spent reviewing documents for production could be broken down into review for privilege and relevancy versus other purposes. That is certainly the case here, where the ACLU non-parties, in an effort to review efficiently, had only one attorney look at each document for purposes of determining both responsiveness and privilege, and did not withhold documents based on relevance at all. Because reviewing for responsiveness was necessary to comply with the subpoenas and produce documents to Mr. Depp, it's recoverable expense of production. Mr. Depp is equally misguided to suggest that time reviewing for privilege work product and preparing a privilege log is not recoverable. Indeed, the subpoenas themselves demanded that for every claim of privilege, the ACLU specify in detail each and every ground on which such claim rests, and ideally generally what the document is. Furnish a privilege log, can't talk, that includes a statement of the specific privilege claimed and the basis upon such privilege is claimed and they're quoting from the subpoena as to each separate document or portion withheld. So this was part of the subpoena they're claiming.
Yeah.
That a privilege log had to be provided and categorized. He cannot make a demand for such a time-sensitive task and be surprised when it dramatically increases the legal fees. It would not be reasonable to require a non-party to produce a privilege log at its expense or waive the privilege. The ACL non-parties disputed and continue to dispute the relevance of the documents sought by Mr. Depp. and that was in their motion to compel. But the ACLU non-parties did not withhold any documents based on their irrelevance. They produced any document that hit on the search terms and responsive to Mr. Depp's request, unless subject to a claim of privilege. Nor should Mr. Depp be surprised by the volume of privileged communications when his subpoena included a request for ACLU communications about the underlying litigation itself. So apparently it was a very broad request they're claiming. Mr. Depp fails to establish that the ACLU cannot recover for attorney's fees reasonably incurred in responding to his broad and burdensome subpoenas. But the judge found for Johnny in all of these.
Yeah, she did.
You have to remember, when I read these things, these are allegations. This is what they hope is going to happen. They can pretty much say anything they want. What actually matters is what the judge decides. So right now, they're just arguing back and forth. The amounts requested by ACLU reflect reasonable rates and reasonable hours as supported by detailed backup. Counsel's hourly rates are reasonable. Mr. Depp cites nothing but his own conclusory and self-serving assessments to dispute the reasonableness of counsel's rates. A reasonable hourly rate is based on the customary fee charged by similar services by lawyers in the community with like experience and of comparable reputation. I'm not sure they had to have the very top lawyers do this, but
I was going to say that now. I was thinking that.
Reasonable hourly rate is based on what a reasonable paying client would be willing to pay, given that such a party wishes to spend the minimum necessary to litigate the case effectively. Mr. Depp's disagreement with the ACLU's privilege and work product assertions is not relevant to the ACL non-parties' entitlement for reimbursement. Mr. Depp agrees that they're entitled to something. ACL responded in writing to Mr. Depp's objections to privilege assertions in last November of 2021, over a year ago, providing the basis and legal citations supporting the privilege assertions. Mr. Depp's counsel never responded. See, there's always two sides, but then there's going to be the truth in the middle.
Exactly. That's where the judge comes in.
Yeah. Mr. Depp does not cite anything in support of his bald assertion that counsel's rates are above market. Moreover, the ACL non-parties reduced the total cost by using a junior associate to perform the majority of the review, supervised by a senior associate, without requesting reimbursement for any partner time at all. Mr. Depp raises no dispute at all with the reasonable rates billed by technical staff employed by counsel to collect, process, and produce documents. The number of hours worked is reasonable. Mr. Depp contends that the number of hours spent by outside counsel's attorneys is responding to the document subpoenas was unreasonable, but again fails to provide any legal or factual support for his claim. As detailed in the ACLU opening brief, in light of the broad scope of Mr. Depp's request and refusal to entertain more cost-efficient compromise proposals, the hours required by outside counsel to comply was reasonable. So, if you find the hours are reasonable, the breadth of subpoena demands and failure to reach an agreement are reducing the scope of the subpoenas. The hours expended are supported by detailed billing. Mr. Depp does not challenge that. Counsel's costs are reasonable. Mr. Depp does not dispute the reasonableness of ACLU's request for reimbursement, and this is the document cost incurred in the monthly data hosting fees. Conclusion: for the foregoing reasons given, the ACLU moving brief, the court should grant the motion to pay them the total. So that's that. I know I read that fast. And I should be more careful because we do have non-English speaking people here. I'm sorry.
Well, in the summary, it's still going on.
Yeah.
They still want their money. They feel like their lawyer fees were excessive. That's
yes. And I have a video that I've done with their initial claim and Johnny's response. So you guys got an exclusive, and I will post that video. I was going to post it tomorrow because I feel like I've been inundating the community. I'm randomly going back here into our comments.
Yeah.
I didn't watch out on the details of the UK trial when it happened because I never believed the scum newspaper, especially after Hillsborough. Yeah. WB will make changes. A major film plot would be good for them. Yeah. There is definitely a rumor. If she fired, why isn't she fired? I mean, they asked
there is
Johnny,
that rumor.
There's been a lot of them. They asked Johnny to step down. They asked him to resign, 2 days after the verdict?
Yes.
And maybe they have asked her to resign and she's declined.
I can see her making a fuss, and also I don't imagine her making it as public as Johnny, where he said, how he gracefully resigned because of this decision. I don't see her doing that.
They testified, and I saw it in court documents. They did not pick up her option until only a few weeks before filming started. And she said she fought really, really hard to get that spot back, that role back. And I don't know whether she made any kind of litigation threats, like, you have no right to fire me. I wasn't found guilty of anything. I don't know.
They could have as well. It depends on what's in her contract. If she had already pre-signed it and what,
Right. But they weren't picking that option up. She fought really hard for it. They got it. She says her role was reduced. Test viewers are now saying it's up to 20 minutes. Now there's a new rumor coming out from Just Jared, saying that an insider
and Daily
said,
Mail and Daily Mail reported.
Aren't they all reporting though the same article? Don't they refer to this rumor that Just
no, they're
Jared...
reporting according to an exclusive source. That's what they're all saying. So I don't know what their source is, but it is saucy that they have a source.
That she's going to be recast and reshot. So we will see. She was so jealous of his career. She also tried to sabotage it by keeping him late and reducing his confidence in himself. Yes. Boy, yes. She never really knew him, and she's not capable of love. Mango, you said you made some notes. I want to make sure we touch on those.
It was basically about everything she said so far in the Savannah interview.
Okay. Is there anything we missed?
No, we went through everything. The I love you, the TMZ guy. She said, why would she tip them to show up? Which I found funny.
I find that funny that her PR guy just now, when she went to New York City, the Paps knew exactly what plane she was on, what airport she left from, what airport she arrived in, Teterboro, New Jersey, where she was walking around in New York City. They knew everything. So yeah, nobody gets tipped.
I mean, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because, I've been watching the trial and Amber Heard's name has been gone through my search engine more. I've been getting recommendations of like videos her being papped 6 years ago, when Rum Diary first came out, before they even knew that she was with Johnny.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm so sure she was telling them. There's actually, if I find it must be in my history. The one paparazzi said, I don't know who she is. But they were just filming her. Obviously, they were tipped to go there. I think she was getting her nails done, and one of her dogs were there.
Right.
And so obviously she was paying them since then, because she knew that something was going to happen with Johnny. It was at the start of their relationship, and she wanted the attention.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just thinking for something for a second. Went out of my mind.
I'm sorry.
No, you're perfect. I saw a comment, and then I saw another comment. I'm thinking about all the security people to placate for her. He was upset about the randos in his own penthouse when he needed to grieve. No wonder they were all on it. Patience.
Yes. Just going through my notes.
Do you think Judge Penny will address the interviews of Elaine and Amber on the 24th? I can only speculate, but I find it very interesting that Elaine gave 2 quick interviews. I mean, she walked out that door like about 4:30 in the afternoon, out the back door. By 6:30 a.m. the next morning, she's in New York City ready to give interviews. She had a makeover. That's what it right to be. So she does that. She's scheduled to go to Court TV, give an interview. She goes back to Fairfax and canceled at the last minute because she had to go into court. She has other cases. It could be anything. It really could be anything, or it really could be like, you're an officer at this court. Do not make claims against our jury like that. So it's possible. We'll see. Yeah, she might address it.
Can I make a small side note? Because I just saw a comment from Princess Consuela, who is known on Twitter and in the Johnny Depp community. And I have to say that she's the person who told me to make my first video. So I thank her for, motivating me every day. She started me off. So thank you. Just need to shout out.
I don't think you can click on comments. I haven't found it because I was kind of doing a lot of
I think it's one of the newest ones. I'm just scrolling through.
Yeah, there she is. Oh, well, I think a Judge A prevented Elaine from giving more interviews. That's my side too. I have one more document to share, just because I'm amazed at the coverage that these people are getting. Shit, this. Amber Heard trashed trashed over career-killing interview. America is glad she lost.
Yes.
I mean, they've been doing great coverage.
They really have the best of the best at this point.
Yeah. Amber Heard is getting thrown into the lion's den after a snippet of her upcoming. So this is after the first one was released. It was released on Tuesday. The 36-year-old's first sit-down interview since losing her defamation trial against ex-husband Johnny Depp will air Friday, and fans are not happy with Heard once again. How can people not see through this? Can they not see she's acting? Others moaned about the Aquaman star's lack of acting skills in the meeting with Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Nobody said her acting was good on the stand. She is both a terrible actress in movies and in trials. The fact that she should
agree with that.
Yep. The fact that you would interview Amber speaks volumes about your agenda. America is glad she lost, a user tweeted in a swipe at Today, which dropped the first clip from the interview on Tuesday. The second one's coming Wednesday. I've seen a third snippets of it. It's odd that NBC keeps pushing the false narrative that the jury and judge didn't do their jobs correctly. That's terrible. The interview is the proof that she doesn't have a proper PR team anymore. If she had, they would have told her not to do this. Amber Heard is a liar, another added, while one seemingly suggested that she should give up and her ongoing self-defense, saying as long as Amber keeps dragging this hoax out, she will be getting dragged herself. She's feeding the social media. She's just feeding them. Depp 59 was awarded over $10 million from Fairfax, Virginia on June 1st. That ruled that Heard defamed him in the 2018 op-ed. In the first portion of the interview, Heard claims she does not regret her testimony despite the jury's verdict in favor of Edward Scissorhands star. My dying day, I will stand by every word of my testimony. She sobbed. She didn't sob. She didn't. She just makes faces.
She did not shed a tear. She was all.
That's all I spoke, and I spoke it to power. I spoke my truth to power. People took offense with that because that also is an important part of a Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
It is funny as well that this was in my notes, but because it was in yesterday's part of the interview, I didn't bring it up. That she keeps throwing the First Amendment all over the place about freedom of speech, yet she wants all of us and everyone on social media to not speak that way about her.
Yeah. So this was a little tidbit at the bottom of the article. Cyabra, a disinformation monitoring platform, recently discovered that an increase of 819% of harmful content against Heard followed the court case. The company also found that over 21,000 social media profiles took part in the discourse around the trial.
Ooh.
They're not saying these aren't legit cases. They're not bots.
Yeah, they're not saying that.
No. Okay, so we're going to do these questions. I have about 15 minutes. I'm just randomly scrolling because I can't get through all of them, guys. I wish I could.
Many questions.
I feel sorry for Age Legal Team. Hostile client would not work with them. Fed lies and left to try to clean up the mess. A lot of years for building their careers to come for this. Yeah, I think Elaine and they got a reputation. Rottenborn for sure is coming out good in this.
Yeah.
He'll get more clients because of this. They liked his testimony. Elaine, maybe not so much.
Elaine, I don't think so. I think Elaine really messed up. She wasn't professional at all.
JD doesn't have to do global humiliation to her. She's doing a phenomenal job humiliating herself.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I read a tweet yesterday saying, didn't Amber's PR team learn from people like Jesse or Prince Andrew to not do sit-down interviews because it just gets worse for them.
Yeah. I wish that Savannah Guthrie called Amber out on her now saying she is a victim. On the stand during the trial, she said, I am not a victim. It would never identify as a victim. Yeah, true. And I also feel that Samantha was really going up against the line about they found you not credible, not truthful, but she's letting her say all this stuff, possibly in fear of a defamation. But she's also, Savannah's smart. They're baiting Johnny to give a rebuttal interview. They want Johnny to interview. I'm not saying he's going to. I doubt he will.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he would. Not now, at least.
Yeah. Johnny wanted, after he donated the $100,000 to each side, she got mad and said, you're going to do that. You're going to give me the full amount plus the taxable amount that you would take.
Yes.
for deductions. And we're going to pay it all at once because we're not going to make these charities wait for their money. That's
yes.
what she said.
That's what she said.
Watched an 8H chat with other Danish girl cast. She gives the female lead evil stares and smiles when the male lead talks. Oh my God.
Yes, I posted that video. When was it? Last year, actually, on my Twitter page. She does that to every female around her.
Yeah. Is Adam still his lawyer? I would assume so.
He is.
There's lots of legal roles in Johnny's life. We saw with he hasn't been the trial lawyer that I'm aware of for the Bloom case and the TMJ case, although they ended up settling. You know, like I didn't see that he was going to be in the court case, but no, he absolutely is very much involved with Johnny. Going forward, I don't know. I mean, the cases are winding down now. Unfortunately, he was.
They're friends as well, more than
I think.
They
so.
don't
I think
have
they're
a
friends.
legal relation. They are very close friends.
Yes. How much did he donate on her behalf, and what happened to the rest of the $7 million? He donated $100,000 to each ACLU and Children's Hospital.
Yep.
And we have no idea where the rest went. It was conflicting testimony because there's emails that said Elon donated on her behalf from the Vanguard. There is a Fidelity trust that also paid out, which Elon also uses, but they tried to suggest it must be Amber's, but they don't. There's no identity on it. They don't know. Amber being broke will not surprise me. Man, she's been spending money like crazy.
Yeah.
You know, she's been doing a lot of traveling, although she's been making money too. She gets paid for all those speeches. I'm not saying she's that. I mean, she got a couple million from Aquaman. Gotta do that. Aquaman. But
Aquaman.
Yeah, I don't have the deep enough voice. I can't believe that she
No.
did that. How unprofessional. But,
Very. But I mean, she just keeps going on these holidays, and I really doubt she's got money, because I can tell from the way she dresses as well. When she had money, you could see a different
she was
style.
wearing some designer suits there. Every day was a different outfit. Getting her hair done every day. She wasn't doing that herself. Makeup.
Nope.
Tug says she has big backers. He is a source that says she has big backers. I think Waldman couldn't be his lawyer anymore once he became a witness in this defamation trial. No, that's not true.
No.
He was ordered by the judge, but he had his pro hac vici voided. So he was no longer Johnny's represented lawyer in this court case.
Exactly.
He could still be an advisor. He could still be an advisor. She buried herself. The continuous gaslighting that we don't know what evidence looks like is sickening. She had no evidence. Yeah, gaslighting for sure. She's sitting there saying, after everything I did and everybody found me not credible, everybody else is wrong. All his witnesses were paid off. All the randos are wrong. Even my own witnesses that nobody believed. Everybody's wrong. My lawyers,
Everyone's wrong.
I don't know. I gave them stuff. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know why they didn't do things. But here I am.
When we the most mind-blowing, which I think Ben Chu had the best reaction, was when Camille played the audio bit, which we could all hear what was going on, and then in front of everyone she'd be like, no, that never happened. But we just heard it. That was mind-blowing. Like, oh Jesus.
It was crazy.
It was.
I think it's going to be worth doing a video to recap Dr. Curry's testimony. What we saw in the test, what we saw, because Dr. Curry, I mean, she did do a rebuttal, but even still, when she was explaining all the disorders and explaining her findings before Amber testified, before she's doing all these interviews, everything that came out, we can go, see, here it is. Now we understand it. Now we all see it. We all have seen it ourselves.
That would be a good video.
Megan is a fierce lady. Yeah, she stepped in it a few times. People make mistakes.
Yeah.
She is fierce. What's up with the far right comments? Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't do that. I was getting criticism by some people on Twitter that I should not post some things because.
What types of things? Because I didn't see that. Sorry.
Yeah, but I'm like, you're right. I shouldn't be saying that. This isn't a political channel. I'm not political at all. And I shouldn't have commented like that.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Adam still has his finger in the pie for sure.
Yeah.
Amber should start a Twitch stream. Has anyone ever explained the text he was supposed to have sent, but were actually incoming, not outgoing on his phone? Yeah, I think I think his team got surprised by that.
Yes,
And
they
I think
were.
it was known because if you notice when Rottenborn brought them back in the final closings, he cropped all that off. So they
He
couldn't see
did.
you couldn't see the
Yes.
incoming anymore.
But it wasn't addressed in court, which was a sad thing, but there wasn't much that they could say. I can't imagine a way of them addressing that at the end stages.
Yeah. I want to address my comment again about right. I was wrong to say that. I think I did it because I was anticipating by showing these, I'd get some comments back. And I think I was trying to qualify it and I did it poorly. My point was these are good points and I'm not getting into politics. I think that's what I was trying to say and it didn't come out right. So I'm sorry. I anticipated some negative comments and I tried to qualify it and I shouldn't have. Between Megyn Kelly and Jeannie Pirro, she would be chewed up and spat out for both of them. Yeah, I like them to interview her, right?
Yes. Oh God, that would be a treat.
So that's the one I saw come by, Felicity. I saw that fly by, and that's why I went and checked their documents while Magda was talking.
Sorry.
No, it was good. I was good. I got it. I think Pierce can sniff BS, even though he cultivates it sometimes.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yep. New York Post shocked me and Pierce Morgan. First time I ever agreed with anything he's ever said.
It's the first time I retweeted him.
Yeah. Don't trust the mainstream media. You never know what's behind them. Yeah. People are calling them legacy media. They're calling legacy now because so many YouTubers took over. They're angry. Like, how could these people be making money? Not me. I'm not monetized, but
Neither
I
am I.
appreciate any help.
That
reminds me. I'll get back to this one, but yeah, they're still cherry picking. That was the one thing. Chris Melcher just said it too. He's covering a case in California, and he said he's doing this and reading the documents because the mainstream media is cherry picking out of the court filings and they're being biased. And that's exactly how I got involved with Johnny's cases because they just pick what they want to see and report the more salacious, more interesting things.
Yeah.
Our next role is Joan Crawford. H was trying to channel Angelina Jolie with ambassadorship, stardom, causes, but she was like a child clumping around in grown-up shoes, making a goddamn mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think she was trying to warp her way into that for sure.
She said while she was with Johnny before they even got married that she wants to be like Angelina Jolie. I can find the interview with that. She said it.
Drop the bombshell evidence. Yeah, I think they're going to do it in a Dateline. We know it's going to be Stephen's text. We know it's going to be certain segments of the depositions. It's going to be all hearsay. That's pretty much what they said. Stephen not testifying made it hearsay. Her therapist records are hearsay. I mean, those are the ones that Elaine threw out. So that much we know.
She might even try and sort of misinform audio moments as well, things that were discussed during the audio.
Right. What else?
Because I downloaded all the audio pieces from
good,
the
because they
court
disappeared.
documents.
Yeah, they disappeared for a while, so it's a good thing you did that.
I did because sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because after I put the one video out with the subtitles of the audio, a lot of people were telling me to do all of them. So I'm starting slowly the process of doing that. And I can tell that from her part, there's a lot missing from her audio pieces.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Johnny was submitting full audios. I guess I give a shout out. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I really appreciate it. I am under my About tab. I do have a PayPal donation tip because I do pay for the documents. And I want to give a shout out to Carmen of Nashville. I've never tipped a creator before, but very thankful for your work. Thank you. Nice $10 tip. Her comments are closed, so I couldn't thank her through PayPal. So I wanted to give a shout out, a big thank you for that. So that was very nice.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So I see, what do you call them? Your identities on PayPal, like Carmen of Nashville. I'll have to try and search it on YouTube and Twitter, but they might not come up to be the same person. Info from court gave people the info to decide, not the other way around. Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God this was televised. I don't expect
Thank
Brooks
God.
will. Thank God, because they were spinning it right from the top about Momoa testifying. How stupid were they?
Yeah.
Barkin says Johnny threw a bottle at her. No, that's not what she said. Thank God we heard it.
Yeah.
Were the police paid off? I meant here 4 police officers paid employees, or randos paid? No. Kate Moss didn't. Johnny didn't even ask her.
No.
And she was brought in as rebuttal witness, so she could only be asked about what she was rebutting. She could only be asked about the staircase issue. She could not be asked about the hotel issue because that wasn't part of rebuttal.
I like that she subtly tried to get in that he never abused her, though. So he's never kicked me, he's never pushed me, he's never done. I like how she said that, though.
Yes. And the Eastern Columbia people weren't paid. You know, there's a lot of people that were not paid.
No, of course not.
They were not employees.
Alejandro Romero, who gave the funniest, the position was not paid. And you could see that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, she said it best. She said it what I wanted to say that I'm afraid to say. Just a little afraid. Can I call in sometime? I'm a DV and SA survivor who stands by Johnny. He reminds me of myself. I'm so sorry you experienced that. I really am. I'm
sorry.
I'll consider it. I'm just not trained, and I'm afraid I might trigger something that I can't help with. But somebody else mentioned that, and I will keep it in mind for a future call-in. Each team had 61 hours, and her team used more time than Depp's. In fact, her team used a ton of time on Johnny.
Yes.
And she was shocked when they said, okay, we're starting into your side of the case. Here's what time you have left. And Elaine was like, what? I think you added that wrong.
Yes.
that again.
Wow.
Kelly went into the trial supporting Amber. How embarrassing for Amber.
I don't know what that means.
Megan Kelly.
She started off supporting Amber?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah, a lot of women did. A lot of people believed her. A lot of people believed Big Bad Johnny was harming her, and he was just furthering this out. But no, once they finally saw the evidence and the testimony, they realized, holy hell, she was lying.
Well, at least a lot of people's opinions have shifted.
Yeah, they did use up all their time. I think Depp's team had about 29 minutes left.
They did. Yeah, they had good time.
I hope people flip. The New York Post is coming out on Johnny's. Could the Sun newspaper in the UK and NGN be next?
I doubt the Sun. I doubt the Sun would shift. They won an entire trial to call him a wife beater.
Yeah, they could still shift, but they're not going to call her a husband beater.
Yeah, I wish they do.
Amber's lawyers put the hashtag Amber Turd and hashtag Justice for Johnny in the trial. Absolutely. They brought the social media in themselves. They brought them in. And it sunk her because Justice for Johnny had nothing to do with going against her. It had supporting him. That wasn't exactly the point she was trying to make. By the way, Laura B, you're one best of the true heroes on this case. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are.
You
really
did. You got an exclusive. I'm sorry I read it so fast. What you have to remember is anytime somebody files a claim, it's an allegation.
Yeah.
Somebody responds to it with their side of the story. That can include more allegations. They respond to it again. The other side gets to reply. All of these are claims and allegations until a judge or the jury says, this is what it's going to be. And that's what Amber took advantage of when she filed her claim, her response to Johnny's claim in the UK. She felt that was the first time we saw these 12 to 14 more incidents. It was It was in the Virginia case, in one of the documents, that she suddenly claimed all these things. And that's what she ended up using in the UK and adding on to them. But we did see them here first, but not from the beginning.
No.
So it was really crazy. And it wasn't SA.
No. That came afterwards.
Yeah. Amber's friends said they'd never seen him hit her. And I don't believe her friends ever said, outside of the 2 incidents that she used them for, that she had injuries any other time. I don't believe they said
no, they did not. And also they shifted the stories between Rocky and Io as well, which I found funny.
Josh said that they all had keys, and Rocky had master keyed at all the apartments. They left the doors open, unlocked, to go back and forth anytime they wanted. If Johnny was truly harming her, he'd be locking the doors and not letting people walk in anytime. I mean, he wouldn't be giving keys out. Aquaman 2, any chance Amber Heard be fired? Well, there's a chance.
There is.
They've done it with other, Kevin Spacey. They dumped him and reshot his entire part of the lead role. He was in a lot of it. I was willing to hear Amber's side. I listened to Depp. I wanted to listen to her too. She was exhausting. She gaslighted. Her rage was always below the surface. I tried and she still lost me. Yeah. Yep. Breaking news. Amber's lying again. ACLU are beyond shady in this case. I've got to watch my time. I have another appointment. I thought the ACLU was supposed to fight for equality and people falsely accused. Yes. Shouldn't they donate? ACLU is changed a lot.
Yeah,
over the years. And they're getting shady.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Team Depp written motions. I love to read them because they're very much people speak and not lawyers speak.
Yes.
They're a lot more understandable.
They're to the point.
Nobody has that kind of money to throw around. Johnny will pay what's fair. He knew he was going to have to pay something, but he'll pay a fair amount. Ben Shue does a lot of groundwork in this case. He didn't take a lot. He didn't take a lot during the trial, but he's working his butt off. Oh yeah. He assigned everyone who is most effective in their role in this trial because there was a lot of testimony they had to question and depose. So he did great. Boycott Aquaman 2, sure, absolutely.
Yep. I would have boycotted it anyway.
Yeah, someone posted this on Twitter yesterday. It was a declaration from an ACLU lawyer. They claimed Depp's lawyer didn't reply to their email about privilege review in regards to Amber. I think I just read that. So yeah. These must have got posted last night and I didn't get them until just now. They should have been a party. Yeah, that would have been a hell of a big fight for Johnny. I think he did what he needed to do. The first person who's out of her mouth lied because with her personal experience, that was the person he needed to sue, not ACLU, not Washington Post.
Yeah.
The only person who won this case was Camille. She did a great job. They all did a great job.
They all
the expert
did.
Witnesses. Yeah. Well, they can use this $100,000 donation then. I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
I thought of that too, yes. They want 86,000, take the 100 they already gave you.
Yeah. I would hire Ben Shue if I needed to go to court. Good legal defense is priceless. And he would be very pricey now, I would think.
Yes, he will be.
That's the whole point of a subpoena. My God, the attorney fees are outrageous, and there's no way they spent that much time on this. Yeah, I had the video I will dump out tomorrow. Let's see. Corporate media packs, whoever pays them. Yeah, and whoever pays them is also the advertisers. As long as they're getting clicks, a lot of this is clickbait. As long as they're getting clicks, they're going to keep reporting this way because they make a lot of money. Yeah, it has a name. It's warfare marketing or something like that, social media marketing. They intentionally will promote the negative if the majority are the positive, because the majority will want to correct them and attack them and come to their articles, and that's where they'll get the clicks. It's done on purpose.
It's also the agenda now of the, believe all women, and they really want to stick with that. And I'm sure Amber has connections.
Yeah. ACLU is covering their own ass, so it's like Depp paying for them to scramble selectively how to hide their wrong. ACLU is trying to complain. Oh, we just did this for the privilege review and everything. Yeah. Yeah, he donated the $100,000 in her name.
Yeah.
So he can't get it applied to his costs. Other donors. There's no privilege. The ACLU lawyers were not Amber's lawyers. This whole filing is so ridiculous. Yeah, they were not a party to this at all. And it made it clear, non-party. Randos like Kate Moss. Kate Moss is a rando, ex-TMZ reporter and Hicksville guy, and they claim to not recognize the Hicksville manager. Seriously.
Yeah.
I hear Hicksville guy and 2 other employees from there are going to be on with Emily D. Baker. I don't know if there's a date for that yet.
I saw them exchanging messages on Twitter, so I imagine there's going to be an interview soon.
Yeah. I don't have much more time, guys, so I hope you enjoyed it. Mango, how did you feel doing this? Because you were thinking about doing your own. How do you feel?
It was really nice. I mean, I hope people tune in on my one. It would be an honor to join you again, and you did a great job.
Thank
Great
you.
as always.
I really enjoyed having a co-host today. It's nice to have someone to talk off of.
Thank you.
Here,
Thank
one
you
of
for
the things
inviting me.
I pulled this up because I just remembered. One of the things they didn't allow that she tried, Elaine tried so hard. She tried so hard to get this in. There is apparently ears, nose, and throat ENT doctor who she saw in 2017, late 2017. And we don't know what he saw her for or what he found. The only thing we heard Amber say on the stand was scarring. She had scarring. She was cut off. And then it was that she had trouble breathing at night. We have no idea. This could be anything. People brought up, it could be abuse of coke that could cause scarring.
Yes.
She was using coke anytime in her life. The scarring doesn't heal. It could be there from God knows when. It could be injuries from here. Maybe she had some plastic surgery. Maybe she's had some minor plastic surgery. I don't know. That could cause scarring. She could have a sinus infections for a good part of her life for whatever reason. That could cause scarring. Infections, multiples. She could have injuries after her time with Johnny or other invasive somethings to cause scarring. There's no proof that Johnny did anything. There was no connection that they could prove Johnny caused this scarring. That's why it wasn't allowed in.
Exactly.
So that's what she's going to be talking about on Dateline.
By the way, because a lot of people are confused, and this is not my YouTube channel, my one is Golden Film Productions, and I am the Sunny Mango on Twitter. This is all Laura B.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Laura.
If L'Oreal parts with her, they're not going to announce it. They're not.
No, they will not.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry you experienced this. I am so sorry. Delusion is strong. So yeah, guys, I hope you like this. I am going to have to run. Thank you, Bangle, for coming. I'm glad you had fun. I had fun.
Thank you.
I like talking to someone else because it made me not look at myself, guys. I posted on Twitter. It's the weirdest thing to do this, and you're looking at yourself backwards, reverse. So I kept trying to fix my hair, which means I'm pushing it in the opposite direction. It's weird. I don't like my mouth gets wonky. And I'm like, why am I doing that? I don't know. I'm like starting to.
You look beautiful, and you did a great job. And have a lovely day, and
You
to
too,
everyone
everyone.
as well.
I do have to run. Like, subscribe, share, comment. This will be up. Deviated septum easily happens, especially after nose blowing. There you go. There's lots of things can happen. All right. Thanks, guys. Gonna get into it now. Bye-bye.
Bye.